Hi everyone, this is Bruno Falcone. I am here today for Threads of Success with Les Moir. Thank you for being here with me today. Les Moir's got this tremendous business, and the cool thing about this is that I know first-hand experience the level of change that you do bring to everybody that you work with. So I am so excited and I'm always grateful. Like, this is something that I always say, because of what I do, I get to rub shoulders with Titans. So like, thank you, Les, for being here.
My pleasure. Thank
And it
you for
is,
having me.
and your business name, we were just talking about it off camera. It is, tell me one more time.
No limits to success.
No limits to
Yeah,
success.
yeah.
That's amazing. So tell me about it, because as soon as you hear it, you say like no limits to success. What do you mean? Why do people put limits on their success?
I think there's a whole lot of reasons, but people don't even realize often that they have these limiting beliefs, internal limiting beliefs, and often they're hidden, right? And the reason we don't understand our limiting beliefs is because we believe them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what often happens is we've got these beliefs, or what we call mindset, that especially for business people, they've just been brought up with them. It's learnt over time. It comes from possibly your parents' attitude, from things you learn at school, and there's all these layers of belief. And often it means that we put our limits on ourselves, like a ceiling that we can't get past, because we believe that that's as high as we can go. And if we take those limits away, then the potential is unlimited.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's one of those things like you don't know, I've recently been to a program. It's called Money in You. You know, it was a great program. There was a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of whole bunch of different people from all over, and one of the exercises is that, right? It's like you sit down and you think of you know, 10 years in the future, right? Like 10 years in the future with your business. And they'll help you. They'll be like, you know, try to imagine the perfect life, like the business is perfect, your life is perfect. What does it look like, right? And you start from the future and work your way back, and right? And there'll be like something along the lines, you know, like tell me how many hours a day you work, and how many days a week, how many weeks per month, how many months per year, right? And how much you're making and all of that stuff, right? And this scary thing about it is that I was sitting in a group where the most of the people that were shooting, or more than shooting, they were happy with very low dreams,
It's
very low
yes,
dreams,
yes.
versus like me, I feel like all that I put down, like it's fairly achievable, but at the same time scary enough to be like, oh no, that's crazy. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but scary enough that kind of like pushes you a little bit, but not you know, unreasonable. Be like, oh, I want to be a billionaire, like, you know, whatever. What do
Yeah.
you think about that? Like, can you think of like 3 common limiting beliefs that people have?
Yes, definitely. Almost all entrepreneurs, and we actually, if we look into that, it's pretty deep. But then they've also got money limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, what they can achieve in a certain amount of time. Because we have these perceptions that the past is going to equal the future, right? And we bring the past into the future. But we also, I've heard this saying, we underestimate what we can do in a day, or sorry, overestimate what we can do in a day, and then also in a week. But a month, we often underestimate. And then in a year and further, the things we can achieve if we actually focus is phenomenal.
Wow.
And I believe that one of the real things that I think that a lot of people don't utilize, I very much look at the top 1% to help understand the change in why they're different, why they have a different mindset, why they think differently, and why they do differently. And really, when those things happen, you are different. And if you can change to being that different person, it lifts you up, right? You automatically start doing things differently, right? If you are a different person. And it sounds a little bit, you know,
It's
airy,
no,
but
it sounds it does. So actually, I'll bring it down. So, can you think of one thing that like top 1% person would do in their life? Because, for example,
Okay.
for me, I can tell you that as an example, like everything changed when I've started educating myself. So
Yeah.
for me, there's a lot of people like, especially when because I did uni, uni in Italy. I was an accountant. I did uni in Australia as a business, undergrad business. And, you always think whenever you're uni, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to finish university. I'm going to know everything. And that's it. Like,
Yes.
I don't want to know anymore. And I feel like it's a fairly common mindset across a lot of industries. And for example, I was a barista for a while, like, and I thought I knew it all. I was like, I'm the best, right? So more than studying and everything, it's about thinking, I am the best. So the moment that you think I am the best,
You have nothing to learn.
and a top 1%
limit.
person does not have I am the best mindset.
No, they're always looking for the new thing. And I think it's curiosity. You ask the one thing, it's curiosity. What else? What's new? You look at examples, JT Fox, Elon Musk. They're always going, it's not that they're not satisfied, but it's like they're looking to challenge themselves. Whereas I think a lot of the time when you're going, oh, I'm the best, that's a self-satisfaction and, okay, foot off the pedal, right?
Yeah.
And therefore you're not going to continue to achieve.
Because you're doing really well, like you could
and,
be doing really
that's
well.
okay.
And
if that's what you want and that's the level you want to stay at. But generally what I find is people get to that level and then go backwards.
yeah.
Right, because they're not curious about what's next. And if you find like the people with this depth of growth, and that's the other one thing that I see that the top 1% have, no matter what, they've got either mentors or coaches.
Ah, yeah.
Right, because they also have, and they have mentors or coaches who have achieved more than them or have gone ahead of them, right? So what that coach or mentor will be doing is challenging them and going and questioning the way they're thinking. And also they're there to bounce ideas off and get different perspectives, because the top 1% understand that their perspective is not always the best. You do end up having an ego and a perception of strength in decision making, but also they are willing to listen to others. And I think that's one of the things that I find that the other people in industry where they think they're the best, they're not willing to listen anymore.
Yeah.
So it closes off and it limits them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, to recap, you got curiosity.
Yes.
I would say, and willing to learn.
Yes.
Like, willing to, wanting to.
Openness.
Openness to everybody else. I think the one thing that I wouldn't mind throwing in there is also they take care of their health.
Definitely.
So they know that it's work. They know there's hard work, but they also know that those ones are like it's a way for them to be in state during the day, right? Like they wake the body up and they'll do something, and they know that like at some point in their life, like money won't buy them an extra hour of life, an extra day of life. So like they know they need to take care of themselves. So like that's one thing that it impresses me, because you go, the majority of people, they, like if it's too hard, like they won't do it. And then the top one, they will do it.
But again, I think they understand the value of things, right? And because of that, they understand the value of their mind and the value of their body and their health. And in doing that, they go, well, how do I maintain that at its peak? And so again, they look after themselves. They feed themselves well. They'll do the right thing, but to maintain that. And that's not everyone at that point, but the majority. It's because they understand the value they put into things that are going to return value for them.
And I think like you said it perfectly. Like even just the concept of looking after yourself, right? So for example, even ourselves, like we got connected by what's called about me, like tailoring a suit for you, right?
Oh, yeah, it's
And I mean,
it's like
isn't that a form of looking after yourself? Like, what do you think?
absolutely, because I think
How do you feel yourself, right? Like today, like you're so like, what are the deepest feelings that like,
I think that's an interesting form of looking after yourself is, again, it's value, right? When you feel good and feel like you're presenting yourself at the best, you automatically giving yourself value in your mind. And when you present, it doesn't matter if you're going to the beach or you're digging in the garden, that's fine. But bringing your best and dress the best, it just pervades confidence. It gives you self-confidence. You know you're looking good. You know you're feeling good, right?
yeah. And
But
I mean,
that's
the return on investment on that, wouldn't it be even just like being able to like close a deal or something that because you're in this state, right? Like, or like
Yeah.
make those connections that maybe you wouldn't have done.
Because first impressions are valuable, right? So the value, let's say, the value of a suit versus a better suit or a tailored suit, an immaculate suit, and the way it makes you feel, but also presents to other people. If you are doing deals, or no matter what, it might be relationships. It exceeds the value that you spend. And I think if you're looking to grow, investing in yourself, investing in how you look and your brand is really, really important. I mean, it was amazing for me to come in and experience what you did, right? Because it wasn't just about, okay, let's put on a suit, let's put on a shirt, let's dress you up. It was about understanding what colors look good, what shape it would look good for me. And you explained it so I understood. And in doing that again, you gave me so much value that this is not just a suit. This is an experience and an understanding that I wouldn't go away from. You're my tailor now.
Oh, nice.
It's just
Thank you.
and you know that I've recommended you already to
Yeah, you
multiple
did.
people.
Yeah, you
And
sure did.
So
Yeah. But I mean, like even so the first time you came around, we put up some fun stuff like
Yep.
online.
Yeah.
What was the feedback? Like, what did you get back? Like, would people
absolutely.
reaching
People
out to
loved it,
you?
looked at good.
They were
Yeah,
like,
100%
right?
connecting.
So
Yeah.
so sometimes it's like it's almost like that like going back to the top 1% is like the idea that in every facet of their life, like they taking charge and they're taking care of themselves, right?
That's right.
So this is just like external.
Yes.
Then we talked about, the body, like they need to take care of themselves. Most people that will have some sort of spiritual connection, right? Like sometimes it's religion, sometimes it's like, meditation, whatever it is, it's a spiritual connection. And then the business, right? So like, and then like wanting to learn, curiosity. So I mean, I love that you deal with so many of these very successful people in your life. So that's why, I mean, you are at your top form, and anybody really will be able to like get so much value out of spending time with you, and you guiding them through like whatever they're looking in business.
That also comes to, I guess, because we looked at for 3 points, but I think the one that we haven't mentioned, which is huge too, is relational value. I really think that you and I understand very well, but also it's something I've learnt and observed in that top 1%, is the value that people, that top 1%, they utilize relationships, but they don't they add value first, right? And they understand that relationships have much more value than just a transactional thing.
That's right. Oh my God, that is massive. That's great that
Yeah.
you've seen that. Did you experience it yourself? Like, did you see like
All
some
the
sort
time.
of, yeah?
All the time. And that's, I think, where building relationships is much more valuable overall than having one-time transactions. Because in business, our aim is to build relationships with our customers. But if you're also building your network up and horizontally and vertically, that's probably not clear to people
To
that
most
don't
people.
understand that. But if you're building those relationships, what it means is that you can also transition from one thing to another, and you've still got those relationships, because this relationship we have that's going to go beyond here. And also, you and I have connected other business people together, but it's not just about, okay, you're going to get another suit out of it, right? Or I'm going to connect with somebody else to do business with. There's that one person might lead to other multiple things, but it's not like we're thinking that's what it's about. It's because now we've got that exchange and value and added value to each other.
Look, I think I can see the point you're trying to make, and it's to put in different words. Imagine that, you are trying to build this network and you have like favors to ask to people and you want to connect people, right? So then instead of asking a favor, instead of asking first, what you would do, you learn to give first. So the moment that you give in first, it doesn't matter whether it's a client, is a prospect, a business, or a different entrepreneur, like somebody else. If you come in that mindset of wanting to add value and giving, that's when the magic happens. So the multipliers and relationship multiplier that you were talking about, I feel like the bottom line is, you don't know what's going to come out of the value that you're going to add to that next person.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
which is beautiful. And it's something that it's learned. Like, you're not born knowing this stuff.
No. And yet it's interesting that you go and observe children and they do it.
Right. Do they?
Often, yeah, because you see them playing together.
Okay.
And they'll go and include people and they'll build these, and they'll play as a group.
Yeah.
Right. It's not often that when I'm talking about young children, so it's almost like this natural thing. But then as adults, we become like...
Forget.
And I think this is a bit of a thought for me. It's like often I think we get taught, especially through schooling, these limiting beliefs where we have to compete all the time. Like if you think about schooling, we're all either trying to achieve the best and beat everybody else in the class, right? And it's this mindset that I have to be better. And also that achieving that has the level. And when you become...
Achieving as a level, wow, that's true.
That's right, because the top you can get is an A.
That's the top, yeah, right. Instead in the real world, you have A plus, like, to infinity, because it's up to you.
Absolutely, and also there's this strange thing, especially in Australia, where the top get criticised, right? It's tall poppy syndrome. And then also the bottom, they get criticised because, they might be good at other things, but, in certain aspects, they're called dumb or stupid or whatever it might be. And so the ideal becomes to be normal and in the middle rather than a high achiever or step out of the crowd. That, I think, really changes or takes away from... And it's not everybody who comes out of school like that, but I think it's endemic. And then you go into corporate worlds where it's the same thing. It's always almost having to step on each other to try to get to that
Of course,
next
to the
level.
top. So bottom level, cooperation over competition.
Yes, and collaboration, I guess. And that's where I think where the top one, they understand the value of people and they understand that it's really if you're a good entrepreneur, you're always giving first. Your product has to be top level or you're delivering something to as many people as you can or at a high level so that they feel valued. They feel like they've got something exceeding the value they're giving you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what creates a good business.